Have you ever just stopped and wondered how life can exist in basically every corner of our planet? I mean, from the absolute iciest poles to the most sun-scorched deserts, animals have somehow figured out how to call these extreme places home. It seems impossible, right? Well, let's dive in and uncover their secrets to survival.
I mean, really think about that for a second. How can one animal be perfectly built for a world of ice, while another is an absolute expert at living inside a furnace? It just doesn't seem like it should work. But you know what? Nature has an answer, and it's actually pretty brilliant.
So, here are our two prime examples. You've got the polar bear chilling out in the huge frozen Arctic, and on the other side, the jackrabbit, making a life in the dry, blazing hot desert. Their survival? It's not luck, not at all. It's the result of this incredible biological process.
Okay, so the answer to this entire puzzle really starts with one single crucial idea: variation. You can think of it as the raw material that nature gets to play with. It's the very foundation for all of the incredible diversity we see in the world.
So what is it exactly? Well, the scientific definition is beautifully simple. Variation is really just all the differences we can see between living things. This could mean the differences between you and a friend, or the huge differences between, say, a dog and a cat.
And this really breaks down into two main types. First, you have the big, obvious differences between species, like a bear versus a rabbit. But just as important are all the smaller variations within a species, like all the different hair and eye colors we see in people. Both of these types are absolutely key to the whole story.
All right, so we've got variation, all these different options. But what decides which of those options actually succeed? Well, that's where the environment comes in. You got to think of the environment as the stage where this whole drama of survival plays out, and it makes some very, very specific demands.
Now, environmental factors come in two main flavors. First up, you have biotic factors. The bio part is your clue here. This means all the living things an organism has to deal with. This could be the plants it eats, the predators that are trying to eat it, or even the tiny bacteria in the soil.
And on the flip side, you have the abiotic factors. That little A in front means not, so these are all the non-living parts of the environment. We're talking about the physical and chemical conditions that basically set the rules for what it takes to live in any given place. This gives you a really clear picture of the difference. On the abiotic or non-living side, you have stuff like temperature, sunlight, and moisture. Then on the biotic or living side, you've got all the other players in the game, the plants, the animals, you name it. Every single habitat is its own unique mix of these two kinds of forces.
Okay, so here it is. This is where it all comes together. When one of those specific variations gives an organism an edge in its environment with all its unique biotic and abiotic pressures, we call that an adaptation. It's kind of like the secret handshake between an animal and its home.
So let's circle back to our polar bear. It lives in the Arctic, right? An environment where the #1 abiotic factor is just extreme biting cold. So how do its specific traits, its variations, help it meet that insane challenge? Well, here you go. Every single one of these features is a perfect solution. That iconic white fur? It's not just for camouflage. It's incredibly thick, trapping air to create this amazing layer of insulation. Its giant paws work like snowshoes, spreading out its weight so it doesn't fall through the snow. And even its tiny ears are an adaptation, designed to reduce how much precious body heat escapes. All right, time to flip to our other extreme example. The jackrabbit faces the exact opposite problem out in the desert: brutal heat, hardly any water, and not a lot of food. So how in the world does it survive? The jackrabbit's entire life is basically a strategy to solve these three core challenges. Every feature it has is a piece of the solution. For instance, those famously huge ears, they aren't just for listening. They have tons of blood vessels and act like giant radiators, shedding heat to keep the rabbit cool. Now that is a perfect adaptation for surviving in the desert. Of course, it's not just about the animals. Plants have to play by the exact same rules. The cactus is another classic desert dweller, and it is an absolute master of survival in this kind of environment. So what are its secrets? Well, cacti have their own incredible set of tricks. Those spines we all try to avoid, they're not just for show. They protect the plant from thirsty animals. That's a biotic pressure. Its thick, waxy skin is like a waterproof jacket, keeping precious moisture from evaporating away in the dry air. It's a true master of desert survival. So let's zoom out for the big takeaway here. We've seen how all these specific traits help organisms survive. But the engine driving this entire process is variation. Without all those little differences to begin with, there would be no options for nature to even choose from.
If you remember just one thing from all of this, let it be this idea. Variation provides this huge library of potential solutions. The environment is the challenge, it's the lock. And variation provides all the possible keys. Only the keys that fit, the right adaptations, get to unlock that door to survival and passing on their genes.
And really, that's what it all boils down to. An adaptation isn't just some cool biological factoid. It is the razor-thin edge between a species continuing on and it going extinct. It's never been about being the strongest or the fastest, but about being the best fit for your specific home.
And that leaves us with a final and pretty urgent question. Our planet's environment isn't standing still. In fact, it's changing faster now than ever before. So as habitats transform around the globe, the question isn't just how animals adapt, but if their library of variations contains the right solutions for the future. The story of adaptation is far from over.